Hello YouTube, and welcome to my video of the top 5 people who have great abilities but we never notice. And I'm sorry for the light. I have a lot of natural light coming in here. But number one is a lunch lady. Lunch ladies maybe at a cafeteria, at a school, anywhere. Basically what I'm trying to say is they're there and they're making food for like a lot of people. They're making food for like thousands, maybe hundreds of people, and they're able to do it in such a little bit of time. And at the same time they're making something that everybody can eat, so everybody has variety. Like seriously, it's kind of ridiculous that you have to. I wouldn't even be able to do something like that, because to make food for that many people and then serve it to them and stuff like that, man, that's a lot. That's like a lot. Oh my gosh. So if you ever see a lunch lady, inside there, appreciate what they're doing, because that's a lot of people. And even though they're small jobs, we never noticed how much they go through. Alright, number 2, a bus driver. Whether it is a bus driver for your school who drops you to and from school, or a bus driver or a regular public service bus driver. Bus drivers, they're actually pretty amazing. What I'm saying is, a regular 18-wheeler driver, even if they're like, if something happens to the cargo that they're going, like let's say the trailer falls off and it falls like in the ocean or something like that, there's a 50% chance that whatever was in the trailer can be restored, and at the same time, the truck driver probably had insurance on the product. That's not the same with a bus driver. The bus driver, for one, they have to get you where you're going in a timely manner. For two, they have to make the ride as pleasant as possible. For 3, they have to make sure everybody on board is okay while they're doing it. And for 4, they have to know how to maneuver in those big vehicles, like extremely well. If you don't believe me, I can even show you a video of it right now. But a bus driver, no, that's something that I don't think I'd be able to do. And that's another one of those small jobs that we never look like we just climb the bus or go on the bus every day, and we never take in consideration of all that. So the next time you see a bus driver, show gratitude. Don't make their job any harder than it is. We get on and off jets and planes and stuff like that every day without a care in our mind and stuff like that. Which brings me to number 3, a pilot. The pilot of a plane. Yeah, I'm serious. These pilots these days, they have to make sure that the plane is in order, the plane has enough fuel to get them where they're going, and the plane can, carry how much people they carry the load actually that they have. The pilot, all this weighs on them, because guess what? It's not like a UPS plane and stuff like that. I'm talking about like commercial pilot drivers. They're transporting you and thousands of other people, themselves, the assistants, and cargo at the same time. If one casualty were to happen, it falls on the pilot. If nobody can find, like let's say the plane crashes and a few people are injured, the plane was damaged, it's gone, and the cargo was lost, all of your stuff is lost, that's gonna, unless they found out that there was some like technical difficulty or one of the maintenance people forgot something, that falls on the pilot. So to have somebody that can transport all those people from one place to another long distance without any casualties. That has to be pretty amazing. That has to be pretty amazing. So before you get mad, the next time you're on a plane, before you get mad that the plane ride is so long or whatever, or it has to be delayed or anything like that, before you get mad, think about who has to transport you there. All right, number 4, a janitor. Now before you start laughing or whatever, or saying anything else you might say, think about it. A janitor. I'm especially talking about janitors for schools and malls and stuff like that. A janitor, they have to clean up whatever mess you made, and they have to make sure the place is clean for the next day. So let's say you go to school at 7 o'clock in the morning, and at 7 o'clock in the morning the school looks spotless. Have you ever noticed that? Okay. Now through the course of the day, you notice that the school, it's getting dirtier. It's getting way dirtier. There's food all over the place. There's this over there. There's that over there. And stuff like that. And like you're wondering who's gonna clean all this up. And this is especially with me because one day, I was there at the cafeteria. I was like, this morning the cafeteria didn't look like this. It looked spotless this morning. And then at lunchtime, like after lunch, when I was going to like the office, I saw this one guy, this one dude by himself. He was moving the chairs out of the cafeteria, and he was getting prepared to sweep up all of the food, all of the gunk, all of the containers that they threw on the floor. And I'm like, wow, he's doing that by himself. If I didn't have anywhere to go, I would have went and I would have helped him myself, because that's kind of ridiculous. And shoot, because he's cleaning it by himself, and all he has is a broom and a mop. I'm like, what's going on? So the next time you think about throwing something on the floor or spilling something, think about who has to clean all that up afterwards. Think about that person, because then maybe you'll think twice before being lazy and either throwing it on the ground or making a spill and not cleaning it up. Because it's kind of ridiculous, because I know we're all old enough today to pick our trash up and throw it in the garbage and clean up after ourselves. That's common human knowledge, man. It's ridiculous. Alright, my final one, my last one, number 5. Now, you may be surprised when I say this, but number 5, it's a teacher. Yes, a teacher. And if you guys noticed how I've been talking about all the other people, how they actually correlate with each other, then yeah. So, we go to school day after day, whether it's a teacher for a business, a teacher at a school, or anywhere. We go back and forth to these classes day after day and day after day. And we never think about the teacher, because all we think about is that we're going to go in there, listen to them speak, and then we're just going to leave. That's what most of us think these days. But I've observed some teachers these days, and I've been going like, wow, I don't know how they take it. Because if you think about it, what a teacher has to do is, in a classroom, they have to make sure all of the students get the learning experience. They have to make sure all of them get it. And they have to make sure all of them is able to pass. So that's strike number 1. That's strike 1. They have to make sure everybody gets it. And there's always going to be that one person that has a hard time. So that's stress. That's stress right there. Number 2, depending on what type of children are in the class, even the high schoolers, because I have high schoolers. I'm in high school, and I've seen how some freshmen act, and I'm like, that's ridiculous. They're acting like kindergartners. And I've seen how my teacher just goes like, oh my gosh. Because I mean, you got some of us who actually want to learn and get this done, and you have others who won't, like, I'm just going to say, they won't just shut up. And it's ridiculous. The teacher is trying to teach it, but they're not communicating with them, and it's just this one person against all of these other people, well, children, and they just won't listen. So that's number two. That's strike number two. You have to deal with all those children. Now, number three, the teacher. You'll see a teacher sitting inside their class after school every day. The teacher at least stays there after school at least once every day. Think about it. You just see them sitting there at the computer doing something. You're like, oh, you're probably just making a lesson plan for tomorrow. No, they're not. They're not. Well, they're probably doing that, but that's probably the last thing that they're doing. Teachers, whether you know it or not, they have their work at home and they have their work at school. So when they get home after the day, it's not like us where we come home and we're done with school until tomorrow or something like that. Teachers, they have to grade papers. They have to grade papers. They have to make lesson plans. And don't let it be a school where the kids have multiple classes. Now the teacher has to print out, let's say they have a packet that they need to do or a test that needs to be given out. The teacher has to print all that the day before and pass them out. So I have an art teacher, and he almost has probably either 50 or 25% of the school. So if you if you have 10 students and you ask them about this teacher, they're probably 9 or 5 of them are going to say, oh yeah, I have him for art. So every class period, I think he has about 50 or 60 some odd kids, and my district, they're giving out essays that we have to write. So we have to write essays. And nobody likes the essays, because why are you taking an essay inside another class? But think about it. The teacher of your class has to read all of those, and they have to mark all of those. So I'm like, wait a minute. All these tests and all these projects that we're doing, he has to stay after school or go home, and he has to mark all of these or read all of these or whatever. I'm like, wow. And it's not like, and the thing is, what makes it worse with a teacher is that they have to memorize every student's name. The teacher, it's not like they don't know who you are. When you go up to a teacher, they automatically know your name. They know who you are. So you may not know one person in the class, but the teacher knows them almost like it's the back of their hand. The teacher memorized all of your names. It's like having some kid. It's like having their own kids. It's ridiculous. So the next time you start thinking that your teacher is acting like this or acting like that, think about it. Either they're doing this for their own good, or look at all the stress they have to go through. I mean, come on. If you disrespect your teacher, I'm just asking you to just treat them with a little more respect. Because I heard some kids say that, the teacher's out to get me and stuff like that. The teacher's not out to get you. They want to help you. They want to help you. Because if the teacher didn't care about you, they wouldn't have cared if you did your work on it. If they said do an assignment and you didn't do it, they wouldn't care. But if they're beckoning you to do their assignment, that's for one, because they're doing their job, and for two, they care about another child. So before you think that this teacher's out to get me, I hate this teacher, think about it in a different way first. Because that person doesn't really have to care. because they can just give you an assignment if you don't want to do your assignment, they can tell the office, and that's you. But if you have a teacher that cares like that, show them a little more respect. Thank you for watching.
The kids had Salisbury steak, mashed potatoes and gravy.
Control panel over to the avionics panel. Check the crossfeed valve. It opens and closes. And fuel pump panel here. Fuel pumps go on because of fuel and tanks. Check our battery load. Amps. We're starting up AP here shortly. Seatbelt sign on. Window heat on.
Why are restrooms such a problem? Mainly because the cleaning approaches and tools that most facilities rely on are terribly outdated.